338 million simulations show where enterprise defense holds and where it breaks. The Cybersecurity Hub trademark. August 17, 2026. Start with the good news. Enterprise defenses are climbing back. The recovery is narrow, though, and it comes with a catch. Organizations now stop loud attacks far better than before, while they have barely improved against the quiet ones. Those results come from the Blue Report 2026, the fourth annual study from Picus Labs. We built it on more than 338 million attack simulations run in real production environments during the first half of 2026. The report measures how enterprise prevention and detection actually performed against real attacks, from what controls blocked at the perimeter to what an attacker can reach after getting inside. The recovery is genuine. The findings underneath it show how unevenly it landed. These are the ones that matter most. The perimeter held. The interior did not. The headline number reads well. Average prevention effectiveness climbed from 62% to 69%, matching its 2024 peak. It helps to say exactly what that 69% measures. It counts how often security controls, from perimeter defenses through endpoint protection, blocked the attacker actions tested against them. That is a strong average across the full stack. The sharper question is what happens once the attacker already sits inside. For the first time, Picus Labs measured that stage too. We used autonomous penetration testing to behave like an adversary who has already crossed the boundary and operates within the network. The result changes the picture. After compromise, controls blocked only 37% of attacker actions. Inside the domain, defenses stop about one action in 3 and let the other 2 run. The distance between that 37% and the 69% at the edge is the real finding. Perimeter and endpoint controls have improved, yet the belief that a contained attacker stays contained does not survive contact with real conditions. Loud actions get caught. Quiet ones walk inside the network, the pattern splits by noise. Controls blocked lateral movement and privilege escalation, the actions that run code or hop between machines, 85 to 90% of the time. Reconnaissance told a different story. Mapping the domain and enumerating shares and sessions got stopped only about 10% of the time, and reading credentials from memory registered around 22%. So an attacker can chart the environment and collect credentials with almost no friction, all before the noisy step that would raise an alarm. An average prevention score hides this entirely, because each number measures a different stage of the attack. Seeing the split takes running the attack. That is what autonomous penetration testing does. It executes real attack paths inside the network and shows what an intruder could actually accomplish once inside. One tool, 3 methods, 3 very different results. Across the simulations, a single credential theft tool, Mimikatz, produced sharply different outcomes depending on how operators pointed it. Dumping credentials from the LSAS process memory, the classic signatured route, got blocked 94% of the time. Pulling the same credentials from other memory locations dropped to 17%. Reading them from the local registry fell to just 3%. Same tool. Same goal. Same environments. The only thing that changed was how recognizable the method looked. The explanation is straightforward. A signature matches the famous version of the attack, not the behavior beneath it. The LSAS path is loud and heavily instrumented. Reading the registry looks like ordinary privileged work. Even that 94% held against one known build of Mimikatz, so a recompile, an in-memory load, or assigned Windows utility shifts the fingerprint while the behavior stays identical. That is the built-in limit of any prevention score based on signatures. It tells you how well you catch what you have already seen, not whether you stop the behavior itself. These numbers come from the same autonomous testing, and that is partly the point. Only by exercising the full range of an attacker's methods, not just the well-known ones, do you find where controls fail quietly. Malware prevention keeps sliding at the edge. The IOC-based prevention rate for malware downloads fell to 50% this year, after 60% in 2025 and 71% in 2024. That is a 21-point drop over 2 years against one of the most studied attack vectors in security. The cause is structural, not a slip by any one product. VirusTotal alone takes in close to 2 million new files a day, and indicators scale with the adversary's build pipeline. A payload can be packaged in countless forms, and a signature has to account for every one. Behaviors scale with the objective instead, and there are only so many ways to actually steal a credential. This is why indicator-based testing and behavioral testing answer different questions. IOC-based testing asks whether a control recognizes known bad content, the job of perimeter defenses such as firewalls, web proxies, and secure email gateways. Behavioral, TTP-based testing asks whether a control stops the underlying action by any route, the job of the endpoint and detection stack once an adversary is inside and executing. Both matter, and neither replaces the other. On the IOC side, delivering current malware samples as download attempts stays one of the most practical ways to validate perimeter controls against what is already known to be malicious. On the behavioral side, an effective breach and attack simulation platform has to run TTP-based testing against EDR, XDR, and seem to confirm those controls stop the action itself, not just the known file. The weakest CVEs group by flaw, not by vendor. Every one of the 10 least prevented vulnerabilities got blocked in under 25% of exploit attempts. We grouped them by weakness class, memory safety and input handling in core libraries, and local privilege escalation in operating system components, rather than by product or maker. The same exploit techniques keep working across different CVEs. That builds a strong case against triaging by CVSS score alone. The question that counts is whether an attacker can actually chain a vulnerabilities techniques in your environment, against your specific defenses. Exposure validation answers it through TTP chaining. It breaks a CVE into the techniques an attacker has to chain and tests each one against your controls, on the day of disclosure, without firing a live exploit. The payoff is a defendable verdict on any CVE the day it lands, including the business-critical, air-gapped, and not yet weaponized systems no live exploit can safely reach. Logging climbed. Alerting stayed stuck. Everything above concerns prevention, stopping the attack outright. Detection is the other half. When prevention fails, an alert is supposed to pull in a human. This year, alerts sit at the same low number as last year, 14%. Logging rose slightly to 58%, while the alert score held flat at 14%. Fewer than 1 in 7 simulated attacks produced an alert. Teams collect more telemetry than ever and convert almost none of that increase into action a human can use. The log-to-alert gap is now a detection engineering problem, not a data collection one. Good scores are rented, not owned. This finding ties the rest together. Prevention fell against 9 of the 10 hardest to stop threat groups, and every top ransomware family got blocked less than 38% of the time. Play collapsed from 50% to 13%. None of these are obscure or novel adversaries. They are well-documented groups with published, widely analyzed tradecraft, and defenses still lost ground against them, because a signature for a known family does not cover the behaviors its operators actually run. Stopping them takes testing against their full, current kill chains, not recognizing their name. That is the through line of the whole report. Strong performance is rented, not owned, and it lasts only as long as the validation behind it. Read the full report. What we covered here is a thin slice of this year's findings. The Blue Report 2026 works as a benchmark you can measure your own program against, and it reaches well past what any single article can hold.